So many salespeople and companies are the best kept secret in their industry. And what this means is that they have a great product or service, yet people simply don't know about them. They're not generating enough interest in the marketplace and they don't have enough leads. And ultimately, everything else suffers in the sales process. So what we want to do is make sure that we have a prospecting campaign that allows us to effectively get the word out there, to engage in conversations with prospects. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways to generate more sales leads this year with a prospecting campaign. Check it out. Number 1, cold email should drive the entire campaign. If you are a salesperson and you're doing prospecting, and let's say you're just making cold calls all day, every day, chances are you're missing a huge opportunity. Because what we don't want to do is haphazardly reach out to prospects at any point using just phone. Typically, in today's world of selling, the data is unequivocal about the fact that cold email, sending emails to prospects, is one of the most effective ways to generate interest, to generate meetings. But that's not where we stop. Yet cold email is one of the easiest ways to drive an entire prospecting campaign, because you can use a lot of automation nowadays and you can connect what you're emailing into your CRM system. And so it's very easy to make email the first process, the first step in the prospecting campaign. And then everything else is going to support around sending those prospecting emails. Number 2, LinkedIn connections. This is a huge missed opportunity if you are not making LinkedIn connections with your prospects. Because the data shows even if you send a random LinkedIn connection to someone that doesn't know you, you still have about a 1 in 4 chance of having them actually accept your connection. And I'm not talking about just sending out automated LinkedIn connections. I'm talking about using personalized LinkedIn connections after you've sent them the cold emails. So there's a chance that they're actually going to know who you are. And when you combine those two, now they're thinking, oh, okay, this is a real person. This is a human being, and they're reaching out to me. Using those LinkedIn connections and actually making those requests are going to have a synergy with the cold email, where now people are saying, okay, there's a human being here. You know what? I'm going to accept this. Number 3, prospecting calls. So many sales reps are actually starting their prospecting process with the cold call. And that's a really big missed opportunity, because let's just say that you actually get a prospect on the phone on the first dial, which is very unlikely. But let's just say you do. If they have no idea who you are, it is going to be very difficult to engage them in a conversation. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It works, and you can do that. But it's much more difficult than if you're making a call after you've sent them a couple of emails and you've made that LinkedIn request. And if you actually get them on the phone, now they're much more likely to know who you are. And that just makes the call, instead of a cold call, it makes it a warm call. Really important distinction, and makes your life so much easier. Number 4, voicemail. So many sales reps never leave voicemails, and this is also a lost opportunity. If you're making all of these dials, you might as well every once in a while leave a voicemail. The question is, what are you actually going to say on the voicemail? And I have a number of videos on actually leaving voicemails. You can look that up. But the key idea here is that you want to, for every, let's say, 4 to 6 dials, you want to leave a voicemail. And you want to make it part of what you've been doing, what you've been sending to them along the way. So maybe you've sent them an email offering them something of value. In the voicemail, you're going to leave a concise and very quick voicemail, but something that's reinforcing what you've sent. So it might sound something like, George, Mark Washak here, 617-555-1212. I just sent you an email, blah, 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 and go right into it. So that way there's a purpose for the voicemail. And then at the end of the voicemail, you'll close out with something like, I'll be in the office this afternoon and tomorrow morning. My phone number, 617-555-1212. Look forward to talking. Now you are being concise, you're making it clear what the expectation is, and you're reinforcing what you've already sent them. Now, it's unlikely that they're going to call you back, but if they're starting to see a voicemail in conjunction with an email, in conjunction with calls, they're starting to realize this is someone who's pretty persistent. They're not creepy, but they're persistent, and they're also trying to offer me something of value. Number 5, FedEx Package. Now, I don't have a special relationship with FedEx, but I can tell you right now that even the CEO of a large company is very likely to open a FedEx package. It's more expensive, it has a higher perceived value, and ultimately, people are interested in what they actually received, if it's a package, if it's a box. And so this is not going to be for every prospect you have on your list, but maybe for your prospects in your top 20 list, send them a FedEx package. Work it into the prospecting campaign in what you map out at each step, and at some point send them something of value, something that's relevant. Maybe it's a sample, maybe it's an ebook that you ultimately print out and you give to them. Maybe it's a book. It can be a lot of different things that you're sending, but ultimately, if you send it along with some kind of a note, ideally a handwritten note, it will get open. And then you're obviously going to be following up on that FedEx package with the email, with the calls. And so it's all fitting into this big campaign, just increasing the likelihood of ultimately getting this person on the phone. And then, of course, getting into some kind of a face-to-face meeting. Number 6, a letter. This is as old school as it gets. Yet writing letters is a lost art. For so many years, everyone was sending letters to prospects. Nowadays, nobody's sending letters. It's a really powerful tool. It can be a professional typed up letter, and I suggest that you put your real signature and maybe just some kind of a handwritten PS at the bottom. And what you're going to do is you're just going to stand out because people are likely to open a letter, especially if you handwrite the address. They're much more likely to actually open that letter. And the letter shouldn't be super salesy. It should be something that is of value, that's offering them something of value and has a call to action that's engaging, that they're likely to really respond to. Sending a letter in conjunction with all of the other ways that we're reaching out to them, they're thinking, wow, this person has sent me so many different things. They've contacted me on LinkedIn, they've sent me emails, they've made phone calls, they sent me a FedEx package, and now they're following up on that with a letter. You are so much more likely to get this person on the phone. And you can really automate a lot of this process and map it all out so that way it's not that overwhelming. And you can actually do this with 50 or so prospects at a time. And if you're doing it in a way that's efficient, this doesn't have to be a huge amount of work. Number 7, drop in. Talk about old school. I am talking about literally walking to someone's office. Now, I know that that's not possible in every scenario. You may have a prospect who's somewhere else in the country, and you're not going to just be able to drop in, and that's fine. But there are probably prospects nearby you that you could be literally dropping into their office. Even if it's the high-level buyer at a Fortune 500 company, they have an office that they work at, and you can stop in and maybe have something that you can hand deliver. Again, you may not actually get to them face to face, but just the act of dropping in is going to make you stand out. It takes guts. So few salespeople are willing to do that. And you know what? You might just actually get to see the person. The other approach, if you really want to get ninja about it, is to be in the parking lot at about 8 a.m. and you're likely to actually catch them as they're walking in. You look at their LinkedIn profile, you know what their face looks like, and then you can actually stop them as they're walking into the office. Again, takes guts, but if a prospect is a high-level person and can mean a lot in sales and commissions, it's worth it. Get face-to-face if you can in any way. Also, if you're traveling and let's say you're meeting with one prospect, who are the other prospects in the area that you can drop in on along the way? Bonus tip number 1, exclusive event invitations. This is a bonus tip because I know not everyone is going to use this, but if you put together an exclusive event and you send them an invitation to an exclusive event, that is going to be a really attractive thing to the right prospect. And so you can put on an exclusive event at a nice location, and I'm talking about a nice area. When we host exclusive events, we host it at the Harvard Club of Boston. And so CEOs are like, oh yeah, I'm super interested in just seeing the Harvard Club. And so hosting an exclusive event and sending them an actual invitation and working that into the prospecting campaign process is going to be much more likely to get a positive response. Bonus tip number 2, tweet them. Now, I make this a bonus because it's not going to be relevant to every prospect, but a lot of high-level prospects actually are on Twitter, and they're pretty active. And if you have a prospect that is on Twitter, you can just send them a direct message, or you can tweet at them publicly, and you're just that much more likely to get in front of them. It's incredible how many high-level prospects are actually pretty active on Twitter. And you know what? Maybe it's not Twitter, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's something else. But we find that Twitter can be actually a really good way to get in front of high-level prospects because they're on it and no one's tweeting at them. And so you can just use this very simple approach. Don't be salesy about it, but it's just another way to get in front of them. Now, when you combine all of these ideas together, you can see how this is all part of a campaign. So what you want to ultimately do is map all of this out and make sure that you're providing value along the way. So there are the 7 ways to generate more sales leads this year with a prospecting campaign. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an awesome free training on the data-driven approach to help you crush your sales goals. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more sales at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking my face, which should be right about here, to get access to a new video just like this one each week.